Hello, hello. Welcome to the first show of 2021. I'm your host, Taylor Thomas. So excited to be here. We have gone through so much. The United States has a new president, yes, and a new vice president. Joe Biden, the president, of course, the vice president, Kamala Harris. But today, to kick off our musical selection, of course, we have multi-Grammy nominated writer and producers. You may know some of the people they know, right? We're going to do the roll call in a few minutes of the artists that they've worked with. We have Chucky Harmon, and then we have Claude Kelly, and they together make the team that you know of as Lewis York. We're going to talk about where that name came from, but gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for our first show of 2021. It's my first time saying it. 2021 already.
2021. Thank you for having us, Taylor.
Yeah, we're so happy.
We're excited.
The excitement is mutual.
Well, I'm glad. So when I heard about the interest of coming on the show, right? I said, wait a minute. I'm sitting here going down the list of huge A-list artists that you've worked with. You guys were behind the scenes, you're in front of the scenes now. So let's kind of catch everyone up if they're not familiar with the duo. So you guys worked separately before you guys became a team in 2015, right? So Chuck, what were you doing?
Well, I was producing music for some of my favorite artists at the time, from Neo to Celine Dion to Mary J. Blige, Janet Jackson, Rihanna, John Legend,
To name a few.
Right. That is, listen, that is a person's dream. One of those artists to have on their roster is a dream. So
Yeah.
then now, Claude, where did you come in as far as what did you do before you guys teamed up?
Right. So I have a very similar story. I was a songwriter based in New York, and I kind of came out the gate swinging the same way. So along the way and from the beginning, I worked with Michael Jackson, Britney Spears, Bruno Mars, Whitney Houston, Miley Cyrus, and that's what's coming to my head right now.
to name a few.
Let me just say this. First of all, the names that you guys have put down there, the first thing when you said Michael Jackson, okay, so I may not be one of his biggest fans, but I do know something about him, and even Miley Cyrus. They are perfectionists. And to know that you guys individually at separate times have worked with people like that, it says so much about you. But I have to ask the question, because we have a lot of people that are aspiring artists like you, writers and producers. How did it start? You don't just jump in there like that. What was your first step to where you are now?
That's a good question, actually, because I think the perception for people that are in the music business and work with big artists like we named, there's this perception that it's there's some kind of like magic door you walk through one day or some kind of quick come up. But the truth of the matter is that both Chuck and myself have been doing music all our lives. So what might have seemed like we blew up was 20 years of studying in school, out of school, in church, in community things. We basically both been singing and playing instruments since we could talk. And so by the time we got to the place where we decided to take that talent to the music business, we were beyond, probably more ready than we realized we were actually. But to answer the question, music is like any other fine craft. I personally would compare it to like a good chef. It's like, if the people who are best at their craft have been doing it a long time. They study all the books. They learn from the best. They're constantly learning, and that's kind of what it takes to be a successful musician today, but really ever. And that's kind of what we did. We grinded our way, blood, sweat, and tears until the right doors opened up for us. But there is no easy way.
And I can't imagine, to get into to be an actor or a performer or artist, that's tough enough as it is. But to write for the actors or to write for an artist has to be even more difficult than that. And I don't know if there's, like you said, a blueprint. So you did have some professional training before you did it for a living.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We've been writing and singing and playing instruments for a long time. So when the opportunity arrived, we were more than ready.
Yeah. Chuck and I both went to music. I mean, we studied music. We're students of music. I mean, we went to college for this. I went to Berkeley, went to Alabama State. We played. I mean, I sing and I write. I play piano. Chuck, how many instruments do you play? Let's keep it. More than fingers. I'll tell you that much.
I just be playing things.
So, and he learns instruments fast. So, we are addicted to this thing. And we always tell people, if you don't love it like that, then it's probably not your calling, because it's such a difficult career. You have to be addicted to this thing.
How do you go about writing do you write for yourself and then the artist pick it, or do you meet an artist and they give you a soundtrack or a beat or a loop and then you write from there?
We write all kinds of ways, you know what I'm saying? But basically, me and Claude sit in the room and dream up the whole idea together. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the artist is present and sometimes it's not. When the artist is present, we collaborate with the artists if they're writers. Sometimes, most of the time, they're not writers, so we end up just going in our little corner. But if not, we'll just come up with an idea, and as we're coming up with the idea, we'll be like, this would be perfect for such and such, or this would be perfect for this artist, or this movie, or whatever. And so we'll pitch it and see who bites.
Yeah.
So are you two like me? I have a pad next to my bed because I'm always thinking, in addition to doing this, like I do news stories. And so I'm always writing down if I hear something or I think something. Is it like that for you? Or do you just simply, pick up your phone and kind of put it in there?
Well, we pick up our phone and record voice notes if it's worth keeping. But if we're honest, like our whole day is filled with music. So we're actually sitting in our studio now. It's called Weirdo Workshop. It's our company.
I love that name. I love that. Okay, I need one of those. I love that.
These are at weirdoworkshop.com. We actually sell these hoodies. They're literally, I'm not wearing one now because I'm wearing my Garfield. It's my middle name. But
okay, where do you get wait a minute. I want to
weirdoworkshop.com. Weirdoworkshop.com.
Weirdoworkshop.com. I love it.
Hoodies, custom colors like that. The general ones are black, but you get them any color you want.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's kind of our tribe. But I saying all that to say is that it's also a place. We're in Franklin, Tennessee. This is the Weirdo Workshop. It's a really cool home where we record, write, film, dream, rehearse everything. And if you're around us for even a few minutes, you realize that our whole life is music. Like we can be walking up the stairs and that turns into a song.
Or, the creaking up the steps.
Hey. We cook together as a family. All of us who are part of Weirdo Workshop, we're cooking and pulling things from our greenhouse, and we're singing a song. And so most of our songs come from the fact that all day is music.
Mm-hmm.
So you talked about Weirdo Workshop. I just really love the name because I could see myself wearing the T-shirt and fitting into that family. So I really, really like that. Why Tennessee? Because I believe, Chuck, you're from St. Louis, and Claude, you're from New York.
Yeah.
So why Tennessee for your Weirdo Workshop hub?
When we started the Weirdo Workshop, we were actually between LA and New York.
Okay.
And that got really pricey really, really fast.
I can imagine.
Plus, we were looking for more of a community than we were like just transit, like in New York and LA. And so we decided to seek out some places where we can just plant our seeds, plant our roots, actually. And we thought about Nashville and Denver and Seattle and Portland and all the cool happening places. But we came to Nashville first, and we fell in love and didn't leave.
Yeah.
So Nashville's Country Music USA. So are you guys dibbling and dabbling in that for any artist?
Well,
yeah,
we already did. We'd already written and produced for several country artists before, and been down here a few times just as songwriter and producer.
No way.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Nashville has a really big infrastructure for the music business. So the record labels are here, the stages are here, publishing companies are here. So there's reasons to come here, and so we knew that it was a good town. But when we were looking for our home, we wanted a place where people respected the music, but also wanted to get down to making the best music possible without all the politics and the noise and the confusion that's going around in some of the other cities. And that's what kind of made us plant roots here and stay. And we also stick out like a sore thumb because, to your point, it's known kind of as country town.
Yeah.
But really, Nashville is Music City.
Yeah.
That's their moniker, is Music City. And so we got here and we're like, but if it's Music City, then where's the Black music? And where the Black people making it and singing it and producing it and developing it and presenting it? And so Weirdo Workshop became our dream, but also is now a creative hub in Nashville for things that are not just country, but a place where artists can come and figure out who they are, and even if it's a mishmash of sounds, and just fill in the gaps of what's missing in music, and not just do the same thing over and over again.
We had, before we closed out the year of 2020, we had a phenomenal singer, you know her, Mickey Guyton. She joined us, and she had just been nominated. So, you know, it's just really exciting to hearing about that. And I love exposing our listeners to the fact that we are everywhere. We do all things. We're not just in one box with one idea about music, sound, art, business. So it really makes me excited to learn that and be able to share that information with our viewers. So the name Louis York, where did that come from?
Well, that's easy. I'm from East St. Louis and he from New York. And
I didn't even pick it up. Okay, there you go. All right. Now I feel bad about asking that question.
No, so a lot of people think we're one person.
Yeah.
Or that like
they think he's Louis York.
They think they call me Louis, even though my name is Claude. So, or we get Lewis and Clark or Lewis and York. And really what it was that when we started working on this music as a band, we didn't have a name because we were Chuck and Claude that wrote and produced for everybody else. And so we couldn't think of something that we liked. And then we realized that the music was really an explosion of all of his influences from birth and mine from birth. And so we took our two cities and said, this is the best of these two worlds.
I love that. And I feel so bad I didn't. I should have asked that off camera because you guys made it so simple. Here we go. St. Louis, New York. Okay, so now we
know. Earlier, you're like, Chuck, you're from East St. Louis, Claude, you're from New York. We're like, you spelled it out.
Right, went over the head, right over the head. Nina, thank you so very much. You can follow them at Weirdo Workshop. Yeah, I'm going to be one of your workshop worky. I love that name. I really, really do. Now, listen, you mentioned working for Christina Aguilera, Michael Jackson, Miley Cyrus, Bruno Mars, Rihanna. That's just a few. Who have you or would you like to work with?
That's a good question.
We were just talking about this yesterday. It's interesting because we work with a lot of veterans. We know pretty much all those people, and they're all 6 degrees separation away. But we actually get most of our joy from breaking new artists.
Oh, okay.
But absolutely. I mean, there's joy in delivering someone who's well known another hit or something that sustains them. But there's a lot more satisfaction in presenting the world with the new sounds they need.
Now you have your own record label, am I correct?
Yeah,
Weirdo Workshop.
Okay, and so all of that with that. You also have a group, believe it is Shindelas? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, Shindela.
Yes. Yeah. So okay, there's one thing to write for others. It's another to bring in a group that's not heard of, because I know from doing and interviewing artists and producers here, a lot goes into putting an artist out, especially with an established industry and with artists out there. How and why did you guys decide to do? You talked about, it's great to bring someone in, but that's a lot that it takes. And I'm sure it may take a little bit away from some of the artists. How did you make that transition or kind of split your time doing that? Because it's a lot of work, I'm sure, getting a new artist out there.
Yeah, we wanted to work on projects and develop projects that we thought was necessary. And the concept of a girl group came in our minds maybe 4 or 5 years ago, just talking about what's missing in music and what's missing in lyrics when it comes to women. And so that just led us down this rabbit hole of coming up with the concept of the Shindelas. And then we spent a couple of years just like scouring the earth looking for the perfect women to fill that role that we had in our heads for the Shindelas. And
can you tell us a little bit about Shindelas, who they are?
So the idea was that we wanted to have some women that could really sing, who weren't cookie cutter or puppets that were controlled by anyone else, but had a brilliant, real women that had a point of view, and most importantly, brilliant Black women that came together for harmony sake, for messaging sake, for culture's sake. So like Chuck said, we searched the planet and found these 3 brilliant women. Stacey Johnson, who was originally from Chicago but now lives in Tennessee.
Okay.
Casey Jones, who's from Bellevue, Washington, and now lives here, and Tam Williams, who's from Dallas.
You said
and Tamara, I should say.
Okay.
Tamara. We call
Tamara
her Tam.
Shanice.
We call
Okay.
her Tam. But they did not know each other. So we met them all, auditioned them all, had this dream of what this would be, this fairness, this reality, this genuine expression. They met, they loved each other, they loved our idea, and they all took the crazy chance and moved to Nashville to be a part of Weirdo Workshop.
Wow.
Which in itself is a crazy reality show ask in itself. We go wrong in a million ways, and the magic of this movement and our intention in Weirdo Workshop is that we've worked really hard to be men of our word as musicians and as leaders. So we didn't want to bring them here to give them the same shuck and jive that we know so well about the music business. You sign to someone, it's a terrible contract, and this and that, and all that stuff. That was also part of our mission, to break those stereotypes through our movement. So we have worked really hard to present to the world a band that we think the world needs, that has not really been seen in this way ever before. And we have some new music coming. Their album is coming out this year, and we're debuting.
So it's coming out this year. So do you have do you have a picture or image, a mock-up of the album? We were excited. Shindela, this is something good.
Yeah. Here's what I will tell you. I'll give you a lot of information in one quick bundle. The single comes out on February 12th of this year.
All right.
With more songs to come, because their album is insane. They love to hear from people and love to hear how people feel about their music. So we would encourage you to follow them and support them. It's at Shindela's at all social media. And even though we don't have a photo to show you, there are a slew of amazing photos there. I want you to get into them and learn them. And because this is not just, we have something cool.
To bring them on the show. It's okay. We'll bring them on the show. We can do that.
Oh, yeah.
But
we can do that.
I believe they'll be with you for the rest of your lives.
Yeah.
Wow. So spell it so everyone has it spelled correctly, so they can log on right now and be ready for February 12th when they drop their new first single.
It's THESHINDELLAS.
The Shindelas.
Now, I'm going to ask you, where does it come from?
Well, all of our words come from our crazy little brain. So our studio is called the Shindo.
Okay.
And shindo is a word that we made up that basically says, like, it's basically the description of how it feels when the song is so perfect that it gives you chills.
Yeah.
It's the chill feeling, that chill factor, the goosebumps.
That's how we know it's done.
That's how we know the music is right. And so when we're putting this group together, we were talking, we're like, these girls gotta bring it. They gotta be the truth tellers. They gotta bring the chills. They gotta bring the shindo. We're like, well, the girls that bring the shindo would be the Shindelas.
Yeah.
And that's really how it happened.
I wasn't sure if it was a part of like a flashback from some of the female groups from the 60s. So I said, I'm not going to ask. I'm just going to see what they say. I'm not going to put my 2 cents in. So these young girls, what's the vibe of their music, since we haven't heard them yet together?
Well, I would say it's rock and roll and soul. There's a sweet spot where gospel and rock and soul music and Americana music, where it all just melt into this one thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's serious right there. When you talk about church and you talk about rock and roll, that's serious.
Yeah,
that's where we're at.
And that's where we are. We almost named their first album greatest hits, because that's what we're going for. We like, every song has to be this thing that 30 years from now you hear, or it'll be on a compilation, or you'll hear it in on a jukebox or wherever people hear music 30 years from now. But
so it took you 5 years to find them, right? And then how many years did it take you to put this album? Well, you're dropping a single February 12th. How long did it take you to get there?
We developed them for 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
And all that was deliberate. A big part of what made us do this was our frustration with the fact that artist development, which is a key part of making amazing artists, was missing.
Okay.
So we could have met them. We could have had them meet and then put out a song the next day. but we wanted them to rehearse, to be ready for anything, to be ready,
perform,
ready to travel the world if required to, if hired to.
So what does that entail? I've never experienced that. Obviously, I'm not an artist, but for those who don't know, I mean, we've heard the title before, but what does that entail, at least for your organization?
Artist development.
Yeah.
It entails, if I'm being honest, it entails obviously the music. We're rehearsing, we're writing songs, where they're learning parts and learning their voices. It's also a lot of therapy. It's about making sure that the mentality that's required to be the best, to be the greatest is there. The work ethic is there. The understanding of not so much how to carry yourself, but how to maneuver in these rooms you will be in with a gift that big.
Wow.
Which is important because those are the things that actually can be your downfall if you're not ready. Lots of people can sing well, but lots of people don't use that gift, control it, be humble about it, and also not get used because of it.
Wow.
We tell them what we know, because I also am of the belief that when you know better, you do better. And a lot of the cycles that are terrible about this business are because we don't willingly share the important information that makes us not make the same mistakes twice.
So with you guys being pleased with your debut group, the Shindelas, are you looking for any other talent? Is there something that you're looking for, males or a male group? Is there anything like that?
Maybe not a male group.
He's like, we're the only male group.
That's it. It's top tier.
A lot of guys at one time. Yeah. I don't know.
We always have our mind open.
Yeah, we want to spot and expose greatness to the world. You know what I'm saying? How, in whatever form that is. You know what I'm saying? We're willing to take that risk and that plunge.
It may not be artists. Also, we also have our eye on film scoring and soundtracking.
I was going to ask you. Okay.
We love movies. We love stories. Just the art of stories, commercials. We love the art of storytelling, and so our goal is to Quincy Jones a movie. Like we want give us some Color Purple. Watch us fly.
Yeah.
So is there a huge difference in writing for an artist, writing for a commercial, and writing for movie theater? Because I know being a journalist and writing for news, television, and news radio, it's different. I mean, some things the base is there, but some things are quite different.
I think they're very different.
Yeah.
I'd say writing for commercials is the most I don't sound negative, but the most restrictive.
Okay.
You really, commercials can sometimes be 30 seconds. So
30, 60, yeah.
You have to get a lot of information and feelings and emotions and the need to buy or pay attention into this little tiny packed thing.
Okay.
With artists and songs, you sometimes have from 3 to 5 minutes.
Sure.
You can be expressive and take your time and all stuff. I think with movies, it's a lot more about understanding all of musicianship, because a lot of it is not just words and singing. It's telling a story through sometimes just instruments or silence or sounds, things that make you feel without you even noticing that the music is even in there.
Oh, that's pretty special.
Really different brains.
Well, I can tell you during this pandemic, I obviously love music, but I think I didn't really understand how powerful music can be. I remember just driving and I just wasn't in a good mood. It just, the wearing the mask, and I go as far as wearing the gloves, and I'm a very touchy-feely, huggy person. So it's been a year since I've been able to do that. And this song came on. I can't even remember the name of the song, but I was in the car and I was like, it just totally changed my whole feeling. I could feel the blood flowing. It was just energizing. So I can imagine you guys being on a natural high every single day, since you're doing something you love to do.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. Music still takes us to that special place.
Yeah.
To this day.
So I have a little quick note that came in from, it looks like Deja from, I think she's from Georgia. Can you sing a jingle maybe that you've written for a commercial that we might recognize?
I don't think any jingles it's like corporate work.
Neo did a Big Red commercial. I produced that jingle.
But you can't sing it because you're not Neo.
Touche. I like that. Touche. So listen, guys, tell me what your day starts like, because it seems like if music is a part of your day from 24 hours, when do you sleep? Like, tell us what an average day is. And I know it changes from day to day or week to week. What's it like? You get up at what time?
Well, we don't sleep a lot. You're right.
I usually get up about 4 o'clock in the morning.
Same.
And that's how, and I either meditate and pray or exercise, and kind of just start my day in some form of meditative exercising.
Okay.
And then we usually get to the office about 10:30, 11. And from there, we cooking and talking and strategizing. And then from there, we in the studio.
Until whatever time we're done.
To whatever time we're done. That's every day.
That's pretty much every day.
6 to 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know the next question I'm going to ask you about. So what about like family, love, like how does that all work in? Because you guys are down for this 24/7. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you,
it don't work.
It's not easy to work. It's hard. It's a tough balance. I'm not gonna lie to you that I will not say I perfected very well. That's just my honest to God opinion. Honest to God truth. But moving to Nashville has made it actually much more sensible than anywhere else. So
that's good.
Nashville has a way of you being able to do your music and also like shut down enough time to have a life. Unfortunately, we're in a pandemic, so you can't do anything anyway. But music has been my first love, and my focus for quite some time now. I'm not saying that's healthy or it's even right for everyone else, but it's worked for me in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
But balance is key, and we're not perfect. We're working on it every day. I'm working on it every day. I can't speak for you.
I'm trying to work on
balance.
Are you trying to work on balance? Are you sure, Claude? I don't know about that. I mean, sorry, Chuck. You sure you working? You seem like
I'm trying to work on it. You know, Weirdo Workshop is our baby, and we really trying to get it up a mountain, and that's exactly where my focus is. So it's like every day I'm thinking about how can I get this company up this mountain, and then worry about the personal stuff a little later.
So you guys are not even talking retirement. You guys are just beginning. It sounds like, even though you've been in the business for years.
That was like kindergarten.
Yeah, I feel like we're starting to make our best music now, even though we're known for a lot of great music. Wow. It's like God keep giving us inspiration, and we keep wanting to share it with the world. You know.
Chuck, how many instruments do you play?
Good question.
Man, I don't know. I started off playing trombone, and I moved to tuba, and
what?
I played
tuba.
Yeah,
right.
Insane. Played drums, and then I moved to piano and guitar and bass.
What?
Yeah.
Were some of these self-taught?
He still plays most of those like on records. That's the crazy part.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's a genius.
That's exciting. You know, coming to my mind when I hear you playing all these instruments, you know, it's the Purple Man Prince himself. I think of, you know, how he would just sit and hear music and be able to tap and write something from there. I'm amazed about anyone who can play more than one instrument. So put it that way. That's pretty impressive. So Claude, do you play anything?
Yeah, I mean, I actually started my music career playing classical piano.
Oh, okay.
Until I was 18, from like 2.5 to 18, I played classical piano pretty competitively in New York City.
Okay.
And then I switched to voice. I sang all the time. I played the flute as well when I was growing up. When I became an adult, I switched to voice. And now I mainly sing. I can kind of pluck around to write songs, but he plays much better than I do, so I don't ever have to.
Wow.
But my music foundation is from classical piano.
So parents, are any of your parents, relatives, or are you guys the first one to show this musical genius?
Yeah. I mean, my dad could sing, but he didn't do anything with music. He was a preacher. But
okay.
Nobody in my family.
And my whole family is all in the medical field. They're all Jamaicans that work at like nursing and doctors and and in the hospital field. So
So we have to thank them for their service right now and what they were doing if they're no longer doing it now.
Absolutely. But the one thing about our families is that they love music and they introduced us to a lot of music, and that kind of made us fall in love.
Mhm.
So then there was no pushback when either one of you told your family, I want to be a writer or producer. It's not as easy to comprehend as saying, I want to be a doctor or a lawyer or even a school teacher. To say a writer or producer, I don't think people understand the full gravity of what it takes. And like you said, there's no A, B, C, and D to get you there.
Yeah,
Right.
I got pushed back. I mean, my mom really, people are scared of the entertainment business. And so
Sure.
she wanted me to have something way more stable. She wanted me to be a music teacher. But I was like, no, Mom, I got this stuff. I want to get out. I want to be a producer. I want to write songs. And so the initial pushback was harsh, but as she saw my passion for it develop more and more, she let go of some of that pushback, and now she's like one of my biggest fans.
I didn't have any pushback really. My mom kind of pushed me into music not forced me, she pushed me into music when I was a kid, because she just had a vibe that I needed to be busy with something, and it just happened that I fell in love with music. So she's always been my biggest fan. But to your point, they don't really tell you that being a songwriter or a producer is a career you can have. You kind of just have to stumble into it, because you love music and you love maybe the music industry as well. So that was not planned. And I would say that even far after I was successful as a songwriter, my family didn't understand exactly what it was that meant, because it's not clear, like you said, but I think they know now.
So can you give anyone advice in regards to, maybe there's a parent here and their child? I know a lot of young teens, especially here in the DC market, that have a love for music. And if they don't want to be the actual person in front, being a performer, we have a lot of people that are talented. Is there at least one or two things that you would say to them that they need to do, whether you need to go to college or you need to do this, or is there like maybe three things that you can tell someone who's aspiring to get into this business, producer, writer, or maybe even artist, three things that they absolutely must do or have outside of talent?
Outside of talent?
Because I tell people there's a lot of talented people, but it's more than that, right?
Yeah. It really is more than that. You got to have a work ethic too. You know what I'm saying?
That's the key.
You know what I'm saying? Talented people are always not they're not the ones that are successful. It's like the ones that are successful, they work hard, whether they're talented or not. You know what I'm saying? So work ethic is just as important, if not more important, than talent.
And I would say you have to have a thick skin, because
you're going
to experience a lot of rejection. Because the tough thing about music is that it's not a black and white industry. It's all about feeling. So you're selling someone a song that you hope they'll buy because it makes them feel right, and that's all subjective. So you're gonna get a lot of no's, and it's also a competitive field. So no matter what you're doing, it's some sort of audition process where you may or may not get make the cut, and so you have to be able to turn that rejection into fuel that charges you to create more, to push forward, to I'll show them. If you didn't get that time, I'll get it the next time. And sometimes at the point where it seems like it's insane to do that, you have to do that.
Keep pushing,
keep pushing, and all these things sound cliche, but they're literal for us now every day.
Yeah.
So we talked and mentioned COVID-19, which after President Biden spoke today, we have some really dark days ahead. How has this virus affected you and what you do?
Well, it's forced us to be honest about where we're headed as a business, where we're headed as musicians, and what we really need to be focusing on as it relates to presenting art to the world. And so it really, to me, it allowed us to minimize all the outside noise of just trying to keep up with the Joneses in this entertainment business, and really just hone in on what makes us special, what makes us money, and what makes us better. You know what I'm saying? And so it's been a good thing for us. You know what I'm saying? Like the empathetic side of me, you know, I'm in pain for the world. You know what I'm saying? To see so many people going through death and sickness and even fear, because I think we all kind of need some psychiatrists after this thing, because we're all battling the fear and the anxiety that comes along with a pandemic and civil unrest and all of that. So my heart breaks for that. But as far as COVID is concerned, with our business and with our careers, I feel like it was a healthy pause for us.
Yeah, I was going to just add that, like, as two Black men that have a business that we own ourselves and live in Franklin, Tennessee, this last year really taught us about how important it is to be educated, think for yourself, and I think we lack great, consistent leadership, especially coming from a Black man looking for leadership. We lack it. And so this last year put in perspective who and what is important. I think we make famous people important for sometimes the wrong reasons, which leads all astray. And if anything, the last 4 years, for that matter, have taught us the importance of thinking for yourself, educating yourself, knowing your surroundings, your governments, your laws, your money, all those things. We become sharper humans because of this year. We eat differently. We spend differently. We read differently. We talk differently. We forgive differently because of the last year. And I think that's something that has been really important and something I wouldn't trade for anything.
So do you feel a level of, what am I saying? Feeling. Do you feel hopeful with this new transition with the Democratic Party coming into office? Do you feel a level of, because you're in an area where I would think that racial inequality and other issues will be a lot more prevalent. As you said before, you stick out. I mean, or stand out.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel hopeful?
I do feel hopeful. You know what I'm saying? And it's not so much hopeful in an administration, because I feel like both sides got a lot to do and a lot to work on, as it relates to transparency and honesty and doing what's best for Americans in the time of a pandemic. But I do feel hopeful that the change will force other people to start seeing another perspective on life, because life, for the last 4 years, life was really grim for a lot of reasons, but some of it was self-imposed. So I'm just hoping that this fresh start, if you will just allow us to just see things a little differently and make a change that's needed in the world right now.
Very interesting. I just love, with us being a news network, we always have to ask about those things and see where and how it affects you. I know a number of artists that we had on last year. We usually have at least three a month. You just talked about how they got to do their work from home, and they've just never had that ability to be that present. And I just don't think I think people see stars and celebrities and they see them on TV and they see them performing, but they don't realize, like you guys are saying, that you guys are in the weirdo workshop, what 20 hours out of it, a day that it takes, for you to see that finished product. I mean, you guys are multi-Grammy nominated, and that doesn't go without a lot of hard work, which people don't see.
Exactly.
They don't see it, but it's there.
It's there.
And that's the part that actually builds your character, is the hard work. The finished result is the finished result, and that's fleeting. Whatever you feel from the finished result, whether it's a positive feeling or a negative feeling, it's fleeting. But that process to get there, that's what builds a character that lasts forever.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, please go ahead.
No, I want to hear it.
We tend to take the low-hanging fruit when it comes to celebrity. That's part of the problem, is that we love someone, and then rather than take the deep lessons, we take how they look or how they dress or what they bought
or how much money
they have. And so we talk to artists a lot, and they say we ask them who they want to be, and they say, I want to be as big as Beyonce, or I want to be as successful as Pharrell or this person. And the the thread between all these people is the work ethic.
Insane.
Wow.
You see at the end, the Beyonce, the hair, the fans, the audience, the crazy. That's the end result.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
An insane, almost like an Olympic champion's work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just encourage people, as I do myself, to take the right things from famous people. Take what makes them successful, not the things they got because they were successful.
Oh, I love that. And that's why I didn't ask you guys, who would you compare the Shindels to? I didn't do it. I knew you guys were like, no, we're not comparing. This is something that's not in the market. And again, you said that their single is coming out February 12th. So how can people support them?
Well, you can, so everything we're talking about, Louis York at the Shindelas, we have a tiny book club, which we'll tell you about in a minute as well.
Yes.
All of that can be found under our hub of weirdoworkshop.com. And if you want to support any one of us, all the links to all the stuff is there. But for Louis York, for Louis York, it's Louis York Music everywhere. But for the Shindelas, it's just at the Shindelas on all socials, YouTube, and they're active everywhere. And their music is available everywhere.
Yeah, music. If you want to support, stream.
Stream.
Yeah.
Apple, Spotify.
I like that.
It's out there. It's good.
It's important for us to do that. And so this is what the show is all about. This is the time when you can really make your network work. So I think it's wonderful for us to be able to talk like this. And with everyone being captive at home, we have a captive audience, so pick up these streams either live or days later, and it makes a world of a difference. And you guys have been so helpful. You mentioned, Chuck, about your tiny book club. Tell us about that.
Well, Tiny Book Club is something we kind of started internally at Weirdo Workshop. We wanted to make sure that we were reading on a consistent basis, and so we started a little day. I think we picked Wednesday,
Weirdo Wednesdays,
once a month, to pick a book and discuss the book. And as we started telling people about what we were doing, because we were really getting fed spiritually from just meeting around a book, and it could be any book. The first book was Animal Farm.
Mm-hmm.
But
Really?
Yeah, but because we read it and we had so many perspectives from which to share with each other, iron sharpening iron, everybody in the organization, we had just the most compelling conversations. And so we would tell people about it. And as we shared it, more people wanted to come. And it's what started off as 6 people ended up being, we used to have 150 people when we were doing it at the Weirdo Workshop, and then we moved it to another location, and we've done them in different cities because as we shared it, everywhere we went, people was like, yo, I want you to bring Tiny Book Club to LA, or I want you to bring it to New York, I want you to bring it to what's Amazon headquarters
in New Jersey?
What?
Amazon headquarters.
I need a Weirdo Wednesday T-shirt too. That's another one. Weirdo. I'm writing all these things down.
Yeah, we'll get it for you. Well, just over time, we've introduced people to books and podcasts and new authors and poetry. We do it once a month, and now it's virtual, but it was in person.
So virtual, that means you're worldwide.
Yeah, man. That means you next time you could be on there too.
And the thing about it is that everyone can join. All you have to do is, Nina, what's the email?
Tiny Book Club at weirdoworkshop.com.
Tiny Book Club at weirdoworkshop.com. You email them and say, hey, I want to be a part of Tiny Book Club.
Yes.
You two can join.
Yeah.
Okay, say it one more time for me. I know Nina's in the back, so say it one more time so everyone can catch it.
Tiny Book Club at weirdoworkshop.com.
Yep.
And it's on Wednesdays at what time?
It's once a month. We get your email, and we send you the information because the date changes every month.
Sure.
And sometimes the time changes, but it's normally around 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's an eclectic group. It's not all the one thing. We read all kind of stuff, and we end up learning so much about ourselves and each other in the process.
So do Claude or Chuck, do you start the conversation off? Do you show the book? How does that work since it's virtual now?
So we usually send the literature beforehand. Right. So people read it, and then we start the Tiny Book Club off with with a question.
Right.
Either myself or Claude will come up with a formulated question that starts the conversation, and as people answer that question, we formulate the next question. And so it's just this constant dialogue, and people are sharing ideas and sharing feelings and perspectives that I didn't even know when I was reading. I lead the thing with Claude, and so I have to read it 3 or 4 times.
I like that. It's, that's really good. That's stimulating the brain, and we need that because we're so in our own box, our 4 or 5 walls, depending on how big your house is, thanks to COVID. But yeah, that is really, really great. Did you expect it to go like this? I mean, you guys obviously aren't doing it for notoriety. You're doing it because it's, again, one more thing that you guys love to do.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing about it is that it started off private. We in fact, we didn't post about it socially at all because we wanted to feel like, okay, this is one thing that we keep pure, that we're not just doing for the numbers or whatever.
Right.
As it grew, and now obviously because it's virtual, we had to. I mean, the reason why we did it was that we know everyone's life is busy. I guess the most important part, the reason it's called a tiny book club, is that the books or the poems are all at least under 200 pages. So it's always something that anyone can consume in a month.
Oh, yeah.
So we're not giving you like a 1,000-page book and hoping that you can read it and spit it back to us. So the fact that I think people are not intimidated by how big the books are or how complicated they are invites people that have told us, like, I didn't even read until this book club. I hadn't read a book in years, or I hadn't read that book since I was, I don't know, a child or whatever, and now I have totally new perspective. And that kind of makes the word spread fast because it's not a class or a lecture. It's a meeting group. And what you always end up with in the end is some sort of empathy, because you've learned that, like, your perspective wasn't the only one, and you've learned from everyone else's opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a book club this month?
We took January off.
We took January.
I understand. No question. So you guys are working on February.
But February 10th will be our next Tiny Book Club, and you guys are all invited. Taylor, please
February
come.
10th. I will have to come. I'm going to have to make a little note for myself because it's 2 days before Shindela's release their single. Oh, by the way, did I ask you the name of the single?
Should we tell Chuck?
Yeah.
Do you have to wait?
No, we can tell you.
The name of the single is called Money.
Money. Simple as that. Money. Okay.
Money. And
I can't wait to hear this. I just can't, because I can see just the two of you guys collaborating and where you guys come from, just mentally and spiritually. I think that this is going to be really exciting, and the world needs some good energy and some new talent.
That's what we provide.
Amen to that. Yeah, we agree.
So if there is someone out there that, maybe they're a writer, maybe they make music, is there a way they can reach out to you and see if you'd be interested in working with them or bringing them on? I'm just not sure. Are you always looking for talent?
We live by never say never.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha.
So
that's great.
If you want to contact us, we have a really cool team here at Weirdo Workshop. You can email at info@Weirdo Workshop. And we love to hear from people. We love to hear, even if it's just to say, hey, we love what you're doing, or we have a question about how to get something. We like to answer them. So please, if you are a musician or want to find a t-shirt, or you have questions, or there's something that wasn't answered here, email us. info@weirdoworkshop.com. We do answer. We don't bite.
Yeah.
I love that. So, you guys have really mentioned, even with the people that you can name off your roster that you've worked with, it seems like you feel like you're obviously not done. What are your goals or ambitions for 2021 and beyond? Is there anything
my goal is to really introduce the masses to the shindelas. We feel like it's
internationally.
Yeah, it's not just, we have a company and we want to break an artist. We feel like, as music fans and people who consume music, we feel like the shindelas is so necessary to spark the conversation that leads to more creativity in music, especially Black music. We just need to shake things up. And so I'm excited about introducing the world to the shindelas. And Louis York, we putting out an album this year, and we're super excited about that. We're going in a whole nother direction.
Because last year you did American Griot, right?
Yeah.
How was that? Well received, right?
Very well received. It was our debut album, and I mean, we're very proud of the music we're able to create as Louis York. And the thing about Louis York is that it's constantly growing and beating itself. So the music we did following that is a new project called Healing Feeling.
Okay. Ooh, perfect timing. Healing.
Yeah, it's all about the things we learn, kind of our introspection throughout this time of quarantine and world change and world discourse. And we used our time being locked in the studio to get all of our emotions and spiritual feelings and frustrations out in music. So, and in the end came out better. So the healing feeling is that's why it's called that. But
healing feeling. So listen, I know that you guys are 20 hours out of a 24-hour day doing music. So it sounds like when you guys are in relationships, are you guys like those, you write poetry and you're like really romantic? Am I pushing the limit here?
You probably be doing that.
Don't. Hey, you're on a good poem, all right?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm romantic in my own way.
I'm a romantic.
Okay.
I am.
I do.
Okay. I just, yeah.
I like to travel. I like to travel, and I like fine dining.
Okay.
So it's been hard with COVID because those are two things you can't do.
Sure.
But I like movies and that kind of stuff. I'm actually when I'm not doing music, I really don't want to talk about music.
No.
So the poetry doesn't happen so much because it's so much of my day all the time.
This is a video of you two. I know we can't play the sound because there's some new YouTube restrictions, but if you're seeing it on there, this is Louis York and you guys are performing, and maybe you can kind of give me some background after you tell me about how romantic you guys are. Ladies like hearing that. I just want to let y'all know because I'm like, I bet you they're so romantic, a rose petal, but
I mean, I do my thing.
Yeah.
I love it.
I do my thing. Now, this video here is a song on American Griot called "Teach Me a Song," which is featuring Jimmy Allen, who is a brilliant Black country artist who's doing really, really well right now, who also lives in Nashville. We filmed it at the Franklin Theater, which is our local theater where we normally put on a fantastic show every year, but couldn't because of COVID this year.
K. Michelle's
in there.
Oh my goodness.
Is
she doing country?
She's doing country, yeah.
She really is? Because last I heard, she wanted to get into it. Oh, great.
She just left the workshop a couple hours ago.
Really? Listen, she makes me feel like I can sing and I can't. No,
all heart.
Yeah. Man.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I'm amazed. So the Shindels have that heart like that too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yes.
Wait until you hear Money.
Oh yes. They can sing, but like Chuck said, it's not just the singing, it's the rock and roll heart of the matter. Give it to you.
Yeah, man.
So some things did you have to, I mean, obviously you don't want to teach them. Again, you guys said, I'm not trying to make you something that you're not. So you had to fine tune who they were for prime time, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
It really what Chuck and I do, what a producer and an artist development department do is a lot of it's therapy. It's not making someone into something they're not, it's bringing out who they are. Mm-hmm. Because so much of the world makes you think you have to be cookie cutter in a box to be successful. And so in fact, to break it even more down, the reason why we called the company Weirdo Workshop is not just a cool name, but actually it's kind of like our process of understanding and growing, which is that ultimately you want to accept the fact that you're a weirdo, which is that you're one of a kind and totally needed, necessary, and unique. Mm-hmm. But in the workshop part is that you're working on yourself every day. Yep.
I love it. I do, and I really do mean it. When I heard that, I was like, that's me. There we go. I love it. I love the name. And listen, I've got a couple of texts. So with the hat, tell me where the hat's coming from.
Where did I get this hat?
Chuck is the hat king. Let me tell you. You got some hats.
I'm always wearing hats. I need to stop wearing hats because I need to let my hair breathe sometimes. But it's always
that much, Chuck.
It's always such an easy fashion choice for me. I've been wearing them my whole life too. It's not, it's not a new thing. I've always wore hats and glasses.
Hats and glasses.
So there is hair up under there. He's not hiding anything, nothing secret.
No. It's some hair.
I'm the one that's wearing the hat.
It's some hair. Definitely.
Well, you're getting a couple shout outs from viewers and on my phone from people giving you some love for the hats. You know, I tell you two are just amazing. You know, again, reading your bio, I was really excited about having you on the show, but having you here and seeing who, just touching the surface of who you guys are, I can see why artists like Michael Jackson, Christina Aguilera, Bruno Mars, and Rihanna chose to work with you. You just more than just the business. It's really about who you are and finding the music that expresses that. And it's just exciting to see that about you. And I love the Tiny Book Club. So again, I've got to have you guys do a quick rundown. We have the Shindels coming out February 12th. Their single is Money. Where do they go again?
At the Shindelas.
At the Shindelas.
THESHINDELLAS.
On all socials.
Yep.
On all socials. And then see, there we go. Thank you, Nina. You are just on point. And then we have the Weirdo Workshop.
Yes, that's the name of our company. That's at Weirdo Workshop. And if you want to follow us online, but also want to buy music or hoodies or t-shirts, it's weirdoworkshop.com.
Yeah.
And so you guys said you have an album coming out later this year.
Yes.
And it's going to be fire.
So fire.
I like that you said it for us because yes, it'll be fire.
So fire.
It's going to be fire. Yes. Yes. Okay. So we can follow you guys. We can support you that way. There's the book club. And then we have the girl band that's coming out. I'm just really, really thankful. And as we kind of close out this interview with you, I want to give you an opportunity to speak to your fans and people that are just tuning in and learning and loving you guys for who you are.
Sure. What's up? We're Louis York. And listen, if you've been looking for great music and you feel like you can't find it, or you haven't found something in a long time that made you feel something, then that's exactly why we're here.
Yeah.
We are coming from Franklin, Tennessee, but we're coming straight to you. And all we're doing every day is getting our dreams out. And our dream is simply to make the kind of music that moves people and changes the world. The kind of art that does that. So if you love music, if you love Black music, if you love American music, then I strongly suggest you rock with Weirdo Workshop. Louis York, our girl band, the Shindelas. And if you want to challenge that brain, exercise the brain, we have a book club, Tiny Book Club. All of it is happening here because we love culture and we love meeting and sharing with people. So just support us. We try to support you.
Yeah, man.
I hope you feel the energy of what we're doing. We hope you feel that this is our contribution to the world in this confusing time. And just keep sharing love and sharing the music.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm telling you what, I love you guys both. I really do. And your energy and your genuineness. I cannot wait to see what you have with Shindels. And I really would love once we, you know, I know you've got a list of places they're going to probably, virtually for a while. We're going to have to bring them on the show. I'd love to bring them on the show, get to know them, find out, you know, the process with them as well. So we'd love to invite. So it's an open invitation we're sending to you. And get them to come on. So multi-Grammy nominated writers and producers Chuck Harmony and Claude Kelly, which make the group Louis York. Yeah, Louis York. Get it? St. Louis, New York. I got it. We want to really, really thank you. And also we have to take a moment to and also thank Concert Connect Talent Booking Services for making today's interview happen. Gentlemen, may your work continue to shine and show the truth that you believe in. So again, thanks so much for joining us. And we look forward to hearing from them and from you too.
Same. Thank you so much for having us.
Nice to meet you.
Happy New Year.
Yes, thank you. And you guys be safe. Well, that will do it for this edition's show. Gentlemen, thank you so very much. Be safe. God bless and goodbye.
God bless.